Dude, there were 4 years where baseball was just, out of the picture for me.
Mm-hmm.
I got like out of shape and stuff, and like baseball wasn't a part of my life anymore. And I think what it took was I lived with my wife in Utah, and then we moved from Salt Lake City back to Portland. And my brother, that first year I moved back, this was 2017. My brother was a freshman in high school, starting at Lake Ridge High School. He's tiny, JT. Like, if you look at him now, he's not tiny. He's a monster. He was like playing baseball again. I was like, oh, high school baseball. Huh. Oh, that's kind of fun. All right, well, at least I can do is like throw John BP. I think like I owe him that. Like, my dad was able to throw me BP my whole life. And John's like my homie, bro. We played baseball video games, MVP Baseball 2005, best video game ever made. And we played wiffle ball in the front yard our whole lives, bro. So I was like, all right, I'm going to teach this guy everything I know about baseball. That'll be like my last thing I do with the game of baseball. And who knows? He's really, toolsy, good skill guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he can get somewhere if he grows a little bit. It's funny where he turned out now. But so we just go to these like terrible public parks. His freshman field actually worked too. It was like 300, 325, 300. I had my old busted up L screen from when we were kids that we snapped together, and terrible baseballs from like 2004. And I would throw him BP and he would hit, and we would do that every day, bro. We would just hit and hit and hit and hit. And he was old enough to where he could throw BP too, and I'd get in there every now and then. It was like, dude, can I use your bat, take up swings? And I was like pleasantly surprised with like, oh man, I still can kind of swing it a little bit. This is fun. And eventually he was just finishing up his freshman summer, getting into his sophomore year, and he's moving up a bat size. And now we're getting into bats, and I go on eBay. I'm like, oh, dude, I loved the bats back in the day. I was such a bat nerd, bro. I loved this. I'm telling you a really detailed story, by the way, of how I did all this. I don't know if I've ever even told this detailed of a story of how Bat Bros started. So we got on eBay, and I buy him like 4 bats, maybe 5 bats from back in the day that were good when I played college at Utah.
Okay.
I think I remember the bats. There was the black Rawlings 5150 that I think was a 2012 or 2013 bat. Good one-piece alloy. There's actually guys, I think, from South Carolina that were still swinging that bat. The Rawlings Trio, which was a composite. You could tell I was a nerd about these bats.
Yeah, you knew,
back then. Composite end cap, alloy barrel, composite handle, which is very unique. We got an Easton S1, which is fire.
That's
bro.
a great bat.
Yeah, that was a really good one. The Oregon Ducks used that when we played against them, and they were monsters. We had your team made this bat famous, Michael Conforto specifically, and Dylan Davis, the Oregon State Dogs. The 2014 DeMarini Voodoo Paradox, where like
that was a hot bat.
The end cap paint would always peel off. So we buy a few bats, and John would test them out, and he'd hit them all, and I'd be like, "Oh, dude, it looks like you really swing that one well." And I wasn't making much money at the time.
Right.
So we would take these bats and like, all right, I guess we got to put these back on eBay and make our money back. Cause like, dude, spending like $200-$300 on bats. I mean, they were probably $50 to $70 a pop. Like that was a lot of money.
That's a lot of money
for a 25-year-old dude that like isn't making much money, you know?
Yeah.
So like, all right, I re-gripped them, put them back on eBay, tried to sell them. And they're these old bats that nobody wants. So I couldn't sell them. I was like, shoot. My wife's going to be so mad at me if she finds out I spent $300 on bats. So what we did, this is the first ever Bat Bro video ever. We went to John's little crappy freshman field. Dude, and I like deleted a lot of the videos, which sucks. I really wish I had these. I have glimpses of them. I think I have them like an Instagram story for him that I can bring up. But we went onto the field, and I had John do it because I wasn't a very good hitter. I ended up doing some of them later on. But I was like, all right, John, can you just talk to the camera, say what the bat is, and then just take like 3 swings, try to catch 3 barrels, and just be like, all right, here's the bat. We're selling it on eBay. Go check it out.
Today, I've got a Marucci AP5, the 2012 TPX X02 by Louisville Slugger.
That is how we tried to sell the bats. We made these little 90-second YouTube videos where we had just first try ever, we just kind of set the angle, and that ended up kind of being the Bat Bro angle. Filmed it on my iPhone 8 or whatever I had back then.
That's hilarious.
And we posted them on YouTube and tried to sell the bats on eBay through those videos. I left them up, and forgot about him. And eventually the bat would sell. So it actually kind of worked. And I forgot to take the videos down. And I just remembered a couple months down the road.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I left those videos up on YouTube. Like, that's funny. I'm going to see if they have any views. I remember there was one, it was a Marucci AP5 wood bat. It had 5,000 views and a bunch of really positive comments like, oh, you guys are studs. You guys should keep doing this. Can you guys swing this bat? Can you guys swing the Meta Power? And I was like, what? Did we just accidentally do something? Like, did we just like find like a niche that nobody's touched? Like, these are these are terrible videos.
Yeah.
This is not very useful or entertaining. Like, we're trying to sell a bat on eBay for $70.
Yeah.
And people thought it was like useful and helpful just to see the bats being used by somebody that kind of knows what they're doing. John's a sophomore. I'm a washed up, not good player. So next thing we do is we buy a really expensive bat for John. I think it was like a sophomore, junior year. We buy a Meta Power for like $500. Mm-hmm. Not a good bang for your buck, by the way. I wouldn't do that again. We make a terrible, I think I still have this video that we can show. Terrible video. Indoors. I did the unboxing in my backyard on the front-facing camera of my MacBook Pro.
Yes.
It's trash.
Yes.
This is a garbage video.
Brand new 2020 Meta Power BB Core bat. Oh yeah. Woo! Oh man, that's so sick.
The feel on it is impeccable.
It got 80,000 views in like a month.
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, I thought like, back then that was viral to me. We talked about the bat, how we felt about it, and we didn't even have anything to compare it against. It wasn't a good review.
Right.
Like, we're like, oh, this bat has so much pop, no data, nothing to compare it against, not even a good review, and people loved it, man. People thought it was so helpful and so useful just to see other people swinging a bat and saying how they felt about it and giving them something, because you know how it is growing up, bro. Like, you can't review a bat. You can't, like, test out a bat.
No,
like,
you can't.
Dick's Sporting Goods isn't going to let you, like, hit baseballs with it. They might let you hit light flights, but that's nothing.
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. So you can't actually try out a bat except for waggling it or seeing a guy swing it in college and be like, that thing looks good.
Well, let alone get like 100 swings on it too.
Exactly,
see how it's going to
bro.
perform.
Yeah. See how that weighting works for you. Like, there's no like good guideline for like sizing a bat either.
For sure.
Like, just nobody had that, and we accidentally ran into it just by, you know, it's like everything in the universe aligned to where we were able to do this.
That's awesome.
And we, like, honestly, we accidentally stumbled upon it.
Yeah.
And we got to be the people. Somebody was going to do it eventually.
Yep.
We just got lucky enough to be the people that are doing it. And here we are, bro, 4 years later, doing dang near the same thing. I remember back when I had an advertising job, this is kind of back to how I got into it, but back when I had like just a marketing and advertising job, I wasn't like when I was doing, I remember I would always talk to my wife about this. I had a note in my phone that said baseball business ideas. That was the title.
That's sick.
Yeah, bro. And I had a bunch of like listings on there.
No way.
Hitting lessons was one. And you know how hitting lessons are, bro. Hitting lessons, there was like creating a training tool, but I'm not an engineer. I don't know what that would have been. And then the third one was open a baseball bat retail store. And that was like dream scenario for me.
Yeah.
If I could open my own sporting goods store and be the guy behind the counter and have a bunch of bats and baseball gear and be the guy that recommends like, hey, like, you know, what type of hitter are you? What kind of bat are you looking for? What's your price range? This is a really good bat for you. So I had a pre-existing passion for working in baseball, specifically with bats and helping people out and providing some sort of value and information in that space. And I think like when we were doing that eBay thing, I think at the time I'd kind of thought that was potentially a way in to the baseball bat store retail space.
Okay.
I was even toying around with that name, the baseball bat store. And then eventually I was like, oh my God, we can just make videos of this. We don't have to sell anything.
Yeah.
We can just literally make videos talking about bats, and apparently people are going to like it. It sucks, man, because there's not a lot of jobs in baseball.
Right.
If you want to work in baseball after college, you're probably selling tickets for a single A team.
Yes.
Like out in some tiny town.
Yep.
And like or you're doing hitting lessons, or
Yeah.
you're working for some travel ball facility, or you open up your own travel ball facility and you're competing with 7 others in the area.
Yes.
So it's like, it ain't easy to go into baseball, dude. And
No.
I feel very privileged, and I feel like a lot of it is just right place at the right time. A lot of it is luck, that I ended up doing this and that we're able to do this kind of thing, man.
1000%.
And I'm grateful that I'm able to offer value to people, because
Oh my gosh.
I feel so lucky. Like, the last thing I would do is try to abuse it
Right.
by
1000%.
making it about me, man. I feel like
Yep.
I owe it to the baseball community. The baseball community gave me this platform, and I'm going to use it for the baseball community. That's my take.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way with this. I mean, the videos that we started to do, it's like
Yep.
Baseball Bat Bros is honestly the reason that kind of gave me that settled push. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's okay. You've always had this idea, like, it's okay that you can explore this. Like, you
Yeah.
can do this.
Yeah.
And you can do it at a high level
Absolutely.
too. But again, it's going back to, like, this isn't, if I would never sit here and say, like, oh, this is all like my original idea. Like, I should do this. Like, dude, this was like kind of what was like put in front of me, like through the Baseball Bat Bros, through just like the baseball community in general.
Yep.
And I was able to kind of like get some direction from that. So I'm like forever thankful for the game, forever thankful for the Baseball Bat Bros. You know,
Yeah.
you especially, like, it's been cool to see like our friendship really grow. Like, you're one of my guys now.
Dude, one of my boys, bro.
And
And
so-
look at you now, man. You got it. Have you unveiled that name to the channel even?
I haven't.
So if you guys see the shirt Zach is wearing, this is not just some random piece of
right.
apparel. This is the merch.
This is the merch.
This is the merch for the show. This is the merch for the podcast, the Perspective Project.
Yep.